Call It Karma running that underdog Vanguards cleave, Ret Paladin, DK, Restoration Druid, going up against Vellido, Omnivore, and Adellah. Now, this Monk TSG has done very well in past GCD tournaments. It's going to be interesting. But here we go, boys. Jumping right into it.
This team, Call It Karma, have definitely a unique playstyle. They will more standardly run down at the healer, but they have a unique way of playing it through. Leafea might even be playing Ursul's Vortex. I saw him practicing it a bit on the ladder. Muggz pushing in as well as Model. They're going to be looking for the Hodge Strangulate CC chain, but Leafea caught into an Asphyxiate double shockwave, peeling Muggz and Model. He's going to use the shield wall to try and reduce the incoming damage and get onto Adëllah as soon as possible. Now a leg sweep out, paralyzed on the Leafea. Iron Bark got thrown up. Hodge onto Adëllah. The Breath of Cindergosa coming in onto him. Execution Sense as well as Avenging Wrath being blown onto Adëllah. Vigilance going to answer that. He portals out of line of sight, desperately healing through all of this burst. Vellido and Omnivore on the other side, taking Model to 49%. Leafea has to blink in here and desperately get the hots rolling.
Yeah, and Adëllah being able to escape that, he escaped that damage without the life cocoon, and it's actually probably going to save his life here as they both the DK and the Red connect on him. Model's taking a little bit of damage here. It looks like the TSG is trying to swap onto him. He's at 100. He's at 35%. He's at 35% health, but he'll be held up here from Leafea. Leafea still doesn't have a trinket at the moment, so he is very, very susceptible to a swap from this TSG here. Model and Muggz getting cleaved right now. The double shockwave comes out. Adëllah also taking some damage. He's at 60%. He rolls away, but he does get grip back and he ports away from that. It looks like he'll be fine for now, and both teams stabilizing.
Yeah, Muggz and Model are looking for the Hodge Strangulate CC chain onto Adëllah to take him down. He's going to have his trinket for the next round. Muggz dipping low here with the Paralyze onto Leafea. He's into execute range. He's going to go down without bubbling. And Call It Karma, man, going down similarly as they did in the qualifiers, just not using the cooldowns, not responding to the burst that's coming out.
Oh, that feels bad, man. We've all been there at least one time, at least on the ladder, where you actually go down without using those defensive cooldowns, and it's just a horrible feeling. But it's alright, though. This is a best-of-3 series. Call It Karma can still bring this back. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, this TSG, we've seen them in the past, and their consistent pressure is just so good. Not to mention, they just stop Call It Karma from swapping over to anything. They're constantly slowed, constantly purged. The freedoms don't do anything, so it's going to be interesting. But I don't know. That being said, Call It Karma is going to get the map choice and the composition advantage, though I don't think they have multiple compositions available to them, so it's not going to do much for them.
Yeah, man, it was really rough. I think Adëllah did a really good job kiting away from the wings and the breath from the DK and Rat. Did a really good job with his rolls and his ports. It's going to be really rough for that team also, especially if he has a well-placed port. They'll just be able to port away with while saving that life cocoon. And then when they connect again, he has a life cocoon to live the next set of bursts.
Yeah, and even like looking at map selection, if they go with Runes of Lordran, which is much more approachable as a healer train map, Monks also have a really good portal path on that map, so they might end up backfiring if they do decide to go to Runes. And I know that this Vanguard's Cleave, their only strategy really is to kill the healer. I've seen them be successful killing anything else, and if they don't connect with those cooldowns, then simply put, they're not going to kill the healer, their strategy's not going to work, and they're going to lose. So finding some way to push through it. One way that the rest of Druid Leafea was doing on the ladder was running Vortex and putting it down on the healer whenever he was expected to use a gap closer to pull him back in. It doesn't DR with the Death Knight's Death Grip, so they get 2 pullbacks when the monk is desperately trying to run away. And I mean, they need to play much more all in. It seemed like they were half and half, and if you go half and half, you're just not going to win the constant pressure war with the TSG.
I agree, man. Now they're actually going to be choosing the map Ruins of Lordran. We'll see you in there shortly. I'm interested to see how this map is going to fare out for this Vanguard's Cleave going up against a Monk TSG. We're going to find out here in just one hot minute. Alright everybody, welcome back to the second round of this best of 3 series. We have Call It Karma going up against our Monk Sucks in round 1 of tournament number 15. So far, Karma is down 1 round. They are the underdogs of this entire tournament. Can they prove themselves here? But this is one hard team for them to do so. The consistent damage from this Monk TSG is just really, really hard for any cleave to match up. But here we go, the gates are opening.
Yep, and I would imagine right away Adëllah going to be the target. Adëllah taking the center of the map here. He's got his portal set in the room so he can immediately go back when he needs to. The Hodge already coming out. They're not using any huge cooldown just yet. Avenging Wrath now being blown. Gargoyle out from Model, now into the full Strangulate. He gets Vortexed back on his Chi Torpedo. Now he's into the corner here. He needs to portal before he goes down! And he's just going to die, getting gibbed a little bit there, being very greedy, not using Nimble, Trinket, Shield Wall, anything, period. And that's kind of what Call It Karma relies on. If you're greedy, you're just gonna eat it. Eat the dirt.
It's just the crazy offensive cooldowns coming from the rep out, and those wings are serious. You have to match them with defensives, even if you have that port available to them. And I mean, holy crow, that game was so fast that I pinged my replay to go up, and I'm looking at the gates opening. That's how fast that game was.
Yes, it's that the Hodge Strangulate combo is just so deadly against any healer.
I would imagine next game he's going to just nimble the Hodge like he did in either Portal or Aura Mastery. If you break up the chain, you're going to be able to heal through the damage. It's when you sit through that 9 seconds that you're really going to just flop. And I believe like the Gargoyle or Soul Reaper ended up killing him at the end.
Yeah, Soul Reaper killed him at the end.
He was probably just like, oh, I'm going to live, I'm going to live, I'm going to live. Oh. No, not gonna live. Sorry, guys. Next game, and it'll be the choice for the TSG, and they can pick a much better map for themselves, like Blade's Edge, where the Monk will have a Z-axis. Even Dalaran is pretty good for his Z-axis, and as long as the TSG is like aware of the cooldowns being used and answers them, I don't even know if Vigilance was used. I know in the first game Vigilance was used almost immediately, and I'm curious if he just didn't think he needed to. Maybe he was like, oh, they didn't connect right away, and you're just not expecting it. So I think as long as they play conservatively and use the cooldowns and respond, that the TSG should come out ahead.
Yeah, man.
Dalaran Sewers?
Yeah, they're going to bring it to Dalaran Sewers. We're going to see you in this third map of this series very, very shortly.
That's interesting.
Alright everybody, welcome to Dalaran Sewers. We have our Monk Sucks, the TSG with the Mistweaver Monk, constantly coming back and competing in GCD, going up against Underdog, Call It Karma, running that Vanguards cleave, and it's currently tied up 1-1. The next map, or this next win or loss, is going to determine who's going to advance and who's dropping down to the loser's bracket. And the gates are opening in 6 seconds.
You start us off, Abdu.
Yeah, and it looks like the gates are open. It looks like this red DK are looking to get onto Adëllah here, but Adëllah just playing very passively, very really way back, and Vellido getting opened on here. He does use some cooldowns. Muggz taking a lot of damage here. He's at 40%. The Iron Bark comes out from Leafea. The Full Fear comes out. Leafea does have to trinket that, and Muggz does have Iron Bark right now, and Leafea without a trinket. The Hodge comes out onto Adëllah. I think they'll be looking to get a Strangulate out of here, but he does roll away from both melee DPS, and they're still on Muggz, taking a lot of damage here. He's at 47%. Leafea trying to top him up, but the leg sweep comes out onto him, the full leg sweep, and Muggz in trouble here, but Leafea will be able to top him off here. The DR Strangulate comes out. Leafea at 30%. He might have to bubble here, 20%, and he does have to bubble there.
Yep, Vellido steals the bubble. They did manage to bait out the Vigilance without using the Avenging Wrath, so Adellah's not going to have that damage reduction, and he's aware of the situation, trying to line aside and force Muggz into a situation he doesn't want to go into, even getting gripped off now into the full Hodge. I'd imagine they're going to pop all their cooldowns, but he gets shockwaved with no way out at 20% HP. Leafea desperately trying to heal him. Strangulate onto Adëllah. He's going to trinket and portal to the center of the map. Now Muggz completely on the back foot at 40%, trying to reconnect onto Adëllah. Nice stampeding roar out from Leafea actually to get them to reconnect. They're going to force the life of Adellah's going to top off. Leafea is going to Iron Bark himself in the meantime as Vellido and Omnivore went to swap to him, but now that Iron Bark's not going to be available for his DPS, Adëllah at 80%. Not very many cooldowns remain. He's going to have Nimble for the next stun combo, which is available. Shockwave comes out onto Muggz. He's just going to bop himself. It does get purged off immediately. Hodge onto Adëllah, trying to take him down right here. They don't have a lot of cooldowns, though. They're not even going to force him down past 100% HP. Avatar out from Omnivore to try and make a turnaround onto Muggz. Leafea's mana getting tapped at 40%. Only 2 minutes into the game. Muggz getting charge stunned. He doesn't have any defensive cooldowns left right now as he's still on forbearance at 30%. All he wants to do is connect onto Adëllah, and Adellah's doing a great job avoiding it.
Yeah, Adëllah doing a really great job kiting away Muggz and Malo out of the line of sight of Leafea. And once he's able to get in line of sight, there's some type of CC. The Field Fair comes out onto Leafea, and Muggz in a bit of trouble here. Leafea doesn't have a trinket for that. The 12 seconds left on that cooldown. The full Strangulate comes out. The Shockwave onto Muggz. He does get the bop up there. It will not be purged in enough time. The Full Hodge comes out onto Adëllah, and Muggz still in a bit of trouble here. But the damage being swapped over to Modelx. He's at 40%, 50%, and the Iron Bark does come out on him. Leafea did have to use his trinket there, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble if he does get swapped to here. Omnivore taking some damage, 40%. Adëllah trying to keep him up, and he does have the Life Cocoon coming up in 20 seconds, so it looks like this team will be fine. Muggz taking a lot of damage, no bops, no bubble left. The full leg sweep comes out, Leafea no trinket, and GG! Peace! This TSG is ready to go.
Yes, they are. Our Muggz is going to take that last and final win, and they will advance to the winner's bracket. But shout out to Call Karma for coming out here, but they are going to dip down to that lower bracket. And let's go take a look at, is Up Next available?
Yes.
All right, let's take a quick look at Up Next. Up next, we have Magic Men going up against Kids of Freak.